Hello and welcome to Hot Money Technicals on Bloomberg Quint Live, India's first digital live streaming business news service. This is a show which gets you a complete wrap of all the stocks that are buzzing in trade. I'm Darshan Mehta. Let's welcome our guests on the show. Joining us today are Shrikant Chouhan of Kotak Securities, Nilesh Jain of Anand, Rathi, and Amit Shah of Indiabulls Ventures. Many thanks to all of my guests for joining me. Before we begin with the show with Analyst, let's bring in Yash Upadhyay, who has a chart on TVS Motors. Good afternoon, Yash. What does the chart indicate?
So there's further weakness is what the charts are indicating for TVS Motors, and for an indicator we are using the ADX indicator. The ADX, as you know, is a directional indicator. It shows you the direction in which the security is moving and the underlying strength in that trend. And now the ADX line is the one in the white, and the red line is the minus DMI line. The green line is the plus DMI line. As you could see, the red DM, which is the minus DMI line, that has been consistently going above. It made a crossover sometime in September of last year, and the stock has been in a consistent downtrend. But what is most important is the ADX line over here, which is the one in the white, and typically a reading below the mark of 20 indicates that there is some weakness in the trend, and you need further confirmation as well as far as the price action is concerned. But you see that the ADX reading has gone up significantly. In fact, it's now at the mark of 35, which indicates that the strength is there as far as the downward pressure is concerned for TVS. Also, as far as the price chart is concerned, so we are looking at the weekly chart of TVS Motors. It made a dragonfly, doji a few weeks back, followed which we saw a big green candle as well. And then for a third consecutive week, we are seeing that the stock has been under pressure. In fact, it has formed a Marubozu sort of a candle on the weekly time frame for this week, which indicates that the open of this week was its high, and the stock has only gone one side, which is on the lower side. It is currently trading at the mark of around 348. So from here, the ADX indicator and the various chart patterns to indicate that there could be further weakness to watch out for in TVS Motors.
Okay, many thanks for that, Yash. We'll watch out for TVS Motors. Shrikant, clearly today TVS is down almost 6 rupees in trade. Are you sensing more weakness that could come in?
Yeah, absolutely, because the stock is very clearly into downtrend. It is forming lower top, lower bottom series, and after like consolidating for almost 2 weeks, 3 weeks, now again the stock has broken its support line. So it clearly shows that it is again heading for its previous low of 338, 335 minimum on the downside. But if we go through its long-term chart, then I think the stock may even hit the levels of 300 on the downside.
Okay, so it's a negative view that is there. Nilesh, what are you sensing on TVS Motors? Are you also seeing a downtrend?
Yes, definitely, Darshan. In fact, we have seen a triple top kind of a formation in the year 2018. From there, we have seen continuous sell-off in this particular counter. Now, on the downside, the immediate level that we are expecting is of 335 or maybe 330. So it's a clear-cut sell-on-rise kind of a counter. Well initiated, one can initiate short position at current level as well.
Okay, short at current level also. What's your sense, Amit? Would you short at this level?
I mean, yeah, the stock is weak, but I don't see much of a downside from here, So around these 320, 325 levels, that is the sort of a previous congestion zone and the breakout zone, which is where I believe, I mean, it's an extended downtrend already. While it is true that it is quite weak, but I do not see a substantial downside from here. In fact, even on a market, we have a positive view. We could see a decent bounce back on the markets as well. And autos have been actually kind of stalling the falls in the near term. So I believe, yes, there could be downside, but not much from here. Maybe 320, 325 is the downside zone for now.
Okay, that's the view that's coming in on the first chart, that is TVS Motors. I think the view remains there is downside. Amit is of the view that the downside will be limited, but yes, the general trend is that there could be more potential downside. Let's begin with the first chart. Shrikant here has a chart on IRB Infra. Shrikant, if we can have you here. What are you sensing here, and what are you sensing in this chart?
Currently we are into downtrend.
Okay.
And we always prefer those stocks which are into lower top, lower bottom series. As we discussed about TVS Motors, that one was also into the same formation. So such type of stocks gives more returns to short sellers and traders in this market.
Okay, this is a short that you are recommending.
Yeah, it's a very short, clear-cut sale trading idea for the for next few days.
Okay.
It has formed some rectangle formation. We can see here at the bottom of this particular fall.
Okay.
But every time, whenever the stock has taken pause, it has formed bearish distribution formation, and later on it has broken its lower boundary. yesterday also, like in last few days, if you see, the stock has already broken its important support line at 83, 85 levels, and now it is sustaining comfortably below those levels.
Okay.
So I'm of the view that the way the stock has spent time between 103 and 83, I think next level to watch out for is 20 rupees down from 83 levels. So 63 is the target for the stock. The previous low of 2014-15 was around 67. So we can expect minimum 67 on the downside, maximum 63. We can keep stop loss at 83, which was its breakdown level.
Okay, but do you recommend shorting at this level, or would you short at higher levels? What's the ideal strategy? If someone has not taken a position, the price is at 77 right now, what should one do?
It's a short sell at current price.
Okay,
it's a
sell at
positional
current price.
call at current price, because already the stock has taken given pullback to the breakdown level of 83.
Okay.
So it's a sale at current price, and we can expect at least 67, 68. So
83
stop loss is very nearby.
83 is your stop loss.
Yeah.
Okay, thanks so much for that, Shrikant. So a negative call coming in on IRB Infra. Nilesh, would you agree with this thesis? Are you also short on? Would you also short IRB Infra at these levels?
Yes, definitely. In fact, if you look at the overall structure, it has fallen from the levels of 260. From there, we have seen free fall. Now, the immediate level that I would wait for that is 75. If at all it breaks below 75, then definitely one can go short for the downside target of 65 as well.
Okay, and what's your sense, Amit?
Yeah, I mean, of course, it's in a downtrend, but I would look at some sort of a pullback to short the stock, say somewhere around 85, 86 zone. I'll keep a stop above 93. This stock can see levels of about 65 on the downside.
Okay, 65. Shrikant, just to follow up, if someone is, if for the momentum traders, is there some breakdown level post which, you know, the fall can be much steeper? Is that some level that you can see on your comp?
See, always like if really somebody like interested in taking very short-term call, then the next level to watch out for is the immediate lowest level, which was around 75.
Okay, so if it breaks 75, the selling can accelerate.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, that's the view that's coming in. So consensus negative view that's coming in on IRB Infra. Next we have a chart by Nilesh. It's a chart on Colgate Palmolive. Let's have the chart. FMCG as a trend is looking rather weak in trade. Colgate no doubt hasn't corrected so much, and I believe that's what you believe a bounce back can come in, Nilesh.
Definitely, Darshan. If you look at the broader chart from the year, we have seen from the year 2013, it has continuously in a rising channel or rising trend. This trend line has never been broken. It indicates the stock has a lot of strength. Now, on the higher side, if you look at the short-term trend, again, it indicates the trend is on a positive side. It is forming a sort of a channel. This is channel. You can see what we are expecting is that it is likely to test the upper end of the channel, which is coming somewhere close to 1350. If you look at the indicators, we have used MACD, where we have witnessed sort of a buy crossover out here. If we see previously, it has given buy crossover here, here, and here. That point of time, we saw a sharp rally on the higher side. So similar sort of rally we are expecting in at current level as well. So on
just hold on to that chat. Can we just explain what crossover have you spoken about?
Well, this is a short-term trend which has crosses the long-term trend. So this indicates the moving average crossover.
And with positive volume.
With positive volume, yes. On a higher side, we'll sort of wait for the confirmation as well. One could wait for the confirmation above zero line, but we are anticipating that it is very much likely to continue in going forward. On a higher side, like I mentioned, the immediate level that I'm expecting is of 1305 from very short-term perspective. So these are level that we are expecting on immediate basis. Going forward from delivery perspective, maybe from 1 or 2 month perspective, the second target that we are expecting is of 1350.
What's the ideal strategy? It's at 1270 right now. Buy at this level. Would you see them accumulate at lower level, or would you go all in at this level?
Yes, definitely. In fact, I would suggest one should wait for some sort of a correction, because we have already seen in the previous week a sharp rally, the rally of close to 3 to 4%. So what we are expecting, there may be some sort of profit booking. Utilize that profit booking opportunity as a going long. The range to go again long should be 1240 to 1260. That should be the ideal range where one can initiate a long position.
Okay, thanks so much for that, Nilesh. Amit, what's your sense? Do you agree? Colgate buy on this counter?
Yeah, I would agree with a buy on this one. Even yesterday's move was quite strong. It closed on a strong note. It has actually come out of that congestion zone which it was in. It did spend quite time sideways, but now it's breaking out with good volumes. good trending action. I do see the stock towards the levels of 1310. I look to buy this stock in the range of between 1220 to 1240. I'll keep a stop of 1180 and ride it on the upside. But I'll prefer dips to buy.
Okay, prefer dips to buy on the counter. Shrikant, what's your sense?
Yeah, certainly it's a buy because the stock has already given short-term breakout at close to 1240, 1245 levels. So the next level to watch out for is between 1300 and 2030. So again, it's a 40-50 kind of rally that we can expect. Again, it's a very clear-cut pullback to its recent fall. It was around some 1350, 1360 levels. From there, all the way the stock has fallen to 1120. So it's a pullback rally, but yes, we can ride because the overall sector is doing well.
Okay, that's the view that's coming in. So it's a consensus bullish call that's coming in on Colgate Palmolive, and the last stock, at least from this, and then again we'll move on to the second round. It's Amit and his chart on ICICI Prudential Life Insurance. As a theme has done well, all the three companies have done well. ICICI Prudential, obviously a big breakout has been seen, but what's the trend that or the technical indicator that you're playing?
Sure. So I'm mainly following the price action here,
Okay.
and as you said rightly, Darshan, the theme itself is doing quite well, and markets are quite fragile, but under such circumstances, stocks which are showing strength are definitely worth watching out for, and I think the simple things works the best in such scenario. So what we are seeing here is as we see here, it's a decent uptrend. Time and again we have seen consolidation, then the continuation of the uptrend. So till it is not reversed, we always assume that the trend would continue. And the way here, the sideways action has been, and then again a breakout that has happened with decent volumes. Your RSI is also rising. It shows the underlying strength for the stock. I would prefer the maybe someone can even add buy here and balance. Someone can buy it towards the zone of 395 to 400 on the downside. That will give some cushion. I'll keep a stop of 373, and my first target for ICICI Prudential is 450, and it can even head to the second targets of 470 on the upside.
Okay, thanks so much for that, Amit. Shrikant, what's your sense on ICICI Prudential? Does this chart look bullish to you?
Absolutely, like the way the structure has formed, and means he has drawn very nicely this ascending triangle pattern on the on daily basis, on weekly basis. But if you go through with its overall formation of all these insurance companies, then they are doing really well. ICICI General Insurance is the top pick from our side.
Okay.
We like that stock, but we also like ICICI Prudential as well as HDFC Life. I think the stock is heading for the levels of 460, 470 as per my overall analysis, and the way he said that if there is any correction, certainly one should look for adding some long position. So it's a buy from our side.
Okay, so buy. And Nilesh, would it be a third thumbs up?
No doubt about that. In fact, we have recommended this particular counter in the previous month on your show for the upside target of 424. So I think there is still some more room on the upper side, 444, 450 kind of a level we can see. It has provided fresh breakout on weekly chart as well. So definitely one can utilize every dip as a buying opportunity. There could be possibility of some sort of pullback. Utilize this as a buying opportunity. On the high side, 444 to 450 kind of target we can expect.
Okay, that's the view that's coming in on the counter. 3 thumbs up for ICICI Prudential Life Insurance. Let's begin with the second round of charts, and Shrikant has a chart on JSW Steel. Shrikant, if we can have you. Metals as a pack has not been doing well. The trade wars between US and China are clearly impacting, and it's down. And ever since, actually interesting that ever since JSW Steel came into the Nifty, it's been down almost 50% from that level. Again, at 52-week low, what's your recommendation?
See, whenever there is a downtrend, if there is any specific formation which is getting supported with any oscillator, especially RSI, relative strength of index, which gives an idea about where the momentum is, whether the momentum is shifting or not, whether the stock is into that downtrend but it is reversing to its previous trend or not. That is very important.
Sure.
So if you go through with Nifty on daily basis, then Nifty has already given positive divergence on daily charts. Along with that, very few companies have given positive divergence. But if you go through with other indices like Bank Nifty or even NSE 500, BSE 500, there also we are seeing positive divergence. So we are optimistic. We are of the view that now 10,600 is very important level, which market will not break. Whatever the correction is right now is happening is the just pullback to the throwback to the recent up move from 10,630 to 11,130, 140. So currently we are of the view that if there is any correction, we should look for adding long position in Nifty. But for JSW Steel, because it has given positive divergence and it has broken its rising trend line or falling trend line, it's a
You
buy
mean
at
this?
price.
It's gone above this yellow line.
Yellow line, yeah. This yellow line is clearly is the line of supply line, and it has started from the levels of 260, 265. So from there, all the way we saw the stock falling to the extreme levels. Even if you go through with its monthly chart, on monthly basis, the stock has completed almost 61.8% of the entire up move. So which clearly indicates that the stock is highly oversold and it is going to reverse back. So it's a buy at this price. The stop loss is very nearby. So previous lowest level 199 we can keep as a stop loss, and we can expect minimum 245, 250 on the high side.
Okay, just a quick follow-up question. You are saying buy this because finally after a while it's managed to go above this yellow line. Is that one of the, apart from the oversold logic that you gave up, on the charts, is this the reason that you have started being bullish?
Yeah, see, like crossing trend line is very, very important because it's a supply line. The other thing that we are seeing on the chart is that previous low was around 210. After that, the stock has made a low of 201, 202 some 2 days back. And if you see this pattern, then the price is into lower top, lower bottom series, but RSI is into that rising mode. So you can see here, here it is showing green. That means it's a oversold pattern. After that, when the stock has fallen, the RSI has not fallen below its previous low.
Okay.
So it means that there is divergence. There is a shift in the overall price pattern. So someone is like consolidating, someone is buying in this market and it is going to reverse back.
Okay.
That's it.
Thanks so much for that, Shrikant. Nilesh, 214 is where JSW Steel is. What's the ideal strategy?
Well, I would like to wait for the confirmation on the price action. We haven't seen yet. It is a clear-cut downtrend. It is making lower top, lower bottom. But the confirmation will come about 225, which was its previous swing high. The moment it breaks above that, then definitely it's a buy for the upside target of 250 as well. Well, I would like to wait for some sort of a confirmation about 295.
Okay, no trade at this point of time. And Amit, what's your sense?
Yeah, I mean, it is true. I mean, metals have been really butchered heavily on the downside, along with autos, etc. But I mean, it's showing a very early signs of fatigue on the downside. But I would also still look for a confirmation that is a close about 223. Once that happens, I'd actually look to go long. These are the kind of set of stocks. I mean, this sector can see sharp short covering rally. And once closing about 223 happens, it can test levels of about 250 to 255 zone on the upside.
Okay, that's the view that's coming in on the counter. Let's pull up the next chart. The next chart is on Torrent Pharma, and it's a chart by Nilesh. Let's pull up the chart and see the strategy. It's a buy according to MACD. Explain why you are bullish on it and explain the MACD chart.
Right. So first of all, we look at this particular support line, which is acting support as of now. Previously, it was acting as a resistance. It broke above the same from here. It has retested. Now again, from here, if you look at it, has formed some sort of a bottom. So after forming bottom, we have seen some sort of a rise or rally on the higher side. What I think is that this rally is likely to continue because on MACD, we have again seen buy crossover. Previous occasion, we have seen a similar kind of a buy crossover. Then we saw some sort of a rally from there. So this is the buy crossover that you can see. So what we are expecting is that in this kind of a volatile market where we have seen correction in the Nifty, this particular counter has shown some sort of a strength. So this particular counter is likely to do well going forward as well, because this price action is indicating the same. On a high side, what we are expecting is that this stock is likely to rally towards 1780 to 1800. 1800 should be my first target, followed by 1850. On the downside, 1620 is my should be the stop loss.
Okay, so what's the strategy right now? So you gave 16 and 16. What was the stop loss?
1620.
1620. It's at 1715 right now. Ideally, if someone has not taken a position and wants to take a position, should he buy now? Should he buy at a lower level? What's the ideal strategy?
Yes, definitely, since we have already seen some sort of a rally, one can buy at current level as well, and at the same time, if at all it falls, then one should look for a buying in staggered manner, because this particular counter is looking very strong going forward from the medium term perspective. The buy recommendation that I've given is for 2 to 3 weeks. So from delivery perspective, positional call, we are expecting on the high side the immediate target, like I mentioned, 1800 to 1850.
Okay, thanks so much for that, Nilesh. Shrikant, what's your sense on Torrent Pharma?
See, all these pharma companies are forming deceptive patterns, and it is very difficult to trade in these stocks. Even if you go through with Lupin Laboratories, which has formed very nice rectangle formation, but later on again it has broken that. So there are like stocks like Dr. Reddy, Torrent Pharma. So it's very difficult to trade, but yes, what he's saying is right because the stock is very clearly into uptrend. So some upside is certainly not ruled out.
Okay, that's the view. And Amit, what's your sense on the counter?
I would actually avoid this stock right now because it right now is in a sideways fashion. 1760 kind of a zone again is the sort of a resistance for the stock. I would give it a pass for now.
Okay, that's the view that's coming in. The last chart, at least from Analyst before Yash comes in, is a chart by Amit, and it's a chart on United Spirits. Amit, you've chosen the perfect Friday stock. What does the stock indicate?
Yeah, Darshan, very well said. Actually, the demographics we have, this continues to be the buoyant story, you know. So, yeah, I mean, McDowell's has been consolidating for a long time. Right now, what's happening is we are at a the stock is trading at a 6-month high. And previously, if you see, the stock had been consistently, this is the first instance, this is the second one, this is the third one. It had been struggling to close above the 200 EMA. However, whenever it did struggle to close above it, we never saw a sharp fall. So, I mean, it was just staying a few percentage away from you know, the 200 EMA, which itself in a way tells you that probably there are good chances that I mean, if there is not a significant fall below the 200 EMA, there are good chances that it will actually breach it on the upside. So here what we are seeing is a nice consolidation on the sideways, and broadly we have seen it is staying above and actually taking now, it is taking support around its 200 EMA. It is trading at 6 months high. The consumer theme seems to be coming back bit by bit, you know. So this stock is looking good in the near term. I would keep a stop loss of one moment. I'll keep a stop loss of 560. I would prefer it to buy now and also buy on some declines towards levels of 590. I'm looking for a target of 670. Which is the first target, but eventually I do see the stock heading towards 700 on the upside.
Okay, thanks so much for that, Amit. Shrikant, what's your sense on United Spirits?
Darshan, the chart is like really good, but we are bullish on this particular stock with a medium-term view because the overall space is doing well, and from FMCG space, we are specifically bullish on McDowell's United Spirit. The reason is because on monthly basis, if you see the chart, then the stock has formed a symmetrical formation and already it has tested its lower boundary. So now it is again heading for its upward boundary, which is close to 800 levels. So there is like a very strong upside for the stock from current levels. So it's a buy at this price, but it is very difficult to trade in this stock. So my view is that to buy and sit on it for next few weeks or few months. If there is any decline furthermore because of any reason, just keep adding the stock and keep final stop loss at let's say 550. So it's a big stop loss of 10-12%, but the upside is also close to 30-40%.
Yeah,
it's a positional call.
Okay, and Nilesh, what's your sense?
Yes, I have similar view. In fact, it has provided breakout from its consolidation. The consolidation was 560 to 620, and yesterday it has provided breakout. So I think on the higher side there is still room to go towards 660 or 700 as well, and we have already witnessed some sort of a rally. There could be possibility of a profit booking that should be utilized as a buying opportunity. The view is definitely to go long.
Okay, that's the view that's coming in on United Spirits. Yash is back with us again. Yash, which chart are you talking about?
Another auto name from my side, Darshan. So Hero MotoCorp is another stock that we are talking about, and it's a conditional call. So there is likely to be further pressure on Hero MotoCorp should it fulfill certain conditions, and those conditions pertain to the trender indicator, which is a proprietary Bloomberg indicator. Now, for the last 4 to 5 trading sessions, we've seen significant amount of weakness come in for the counter, and the trender line, which is the green line over here, that stands at the mark of 2,518. The stock is currently fairly placed above the mark. It's about 25.35 right now. Should it manage to close on a daily basis below that mark, we'll see that the trend line would flip its color, and over the last 1 year period, every time that we've seen this situation occur and the trend line changes color from green to red, we've seen a series of downfall for the counter. So from current levels, it seems like there could be further weakness, but it has to close below the mark of 2,518.
Okay, that's the view. Thanks so much for that, Yash. What's your sense, Shrikant, Hero MotoCorp?
Yeah, it's a sell because the stock has shown a lot of weakness on daily basis. Some few days back it was around 2700 levels, and from there suddenly someone has hammered the stock heavily. So from 2700 all the way the stock has now fallen to what, 2550, 2540 levels. So from here, yes, we can expect at least 24.30, 24.50 kind of levels. So it's a sell at this price.
Okay, Nilesh, what's your sense on Hero MotoCorp?
Well, definitely it's a sell given the fact that all the auto counters are underperforming and we are witnessing some sort of a weakness. So definitely, just like TVS Motor, this Hero MotoCorp can be shorted at current level as well. Whereas one can keep a strict stop loss about 26.50 on the downside. The immediate target that we are expecting is of 23.50.
Okay, and what's your sense, Amit?
Yeah, it's a small sell for a small trading gain towards the levels of 24.50, 24.30 kind of a zone on the downside. But Darshan, I do see overall actually auto stocks doing well going ahead along with the markets. I expect both autos and the metals sector to perform better for the short term. There could be a good short term short covering rallies happening in these sectors.
Okay, that's the view that's coming in. But with that, it's a wrap on today's edition of Hot Money. Let me thank all my guests who've come in today. Shrikant, Nilesh, Amit, thank you so much for coming in today. Ask BQ comes up next. Stay tuned to Bloomberg Quint.